Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Your host, the Raven, here. Doing something weird, new for the first time. I'm doing a post commentary, a post narration, because usually I play live. I play live and I record live. Everything I say is live. But this time we're playing Illusion of Gaia, and I made a mistake. I accidentally erased the sound file that I made while recording. So I have to do a post narration. So anyway, let's get started. I said something in part 18 of this series that was really touched me. It really reminded me why I play these games and why I upload videos. These classic games, they shouldn't be forgotten. They don't deserve to be forgotten. Classic gems like Illusion of Gaia and other Super Nintendo, NES, all the classic games that just really touched your hearts and really were a huge part of your childhood. They need to be replayed. They need to be looked at again. They deserve, a second look, second playthrough. So anyway, we're back in the Angel Village. Last time we completed most of the cavern. I was surprised. At the time I was playing, I didn't think I'd actually completed that much of it, but come to find out playing today, I actually did more than I thought. We were right at the end of the thing. I didn't know that though. So anyway, I have to check like every room or whatever, because every time, it's been a while since I played this. It's been like a long time. I would like to say maybe 6 months or more. I don't think it's been a year yet since I played Illusion of Gaia, but it has been a very long time. So I have to check every room. But my memory is really good, especially for this game, because I've played this game so many times that you just don't know. As an adult, as a child, and it deserves it. It's got awesome graphics, it's got awesome gameplay, combat mechanics. It can be frustrating, as any video game has its ups and downs or whatever. No game is perfect, but if I was trapped on a desert island and I could only have like a handful of games, and one of them had to be a Super Nintendo game, I believe this one would be my pick, because even today, 20 plus years later, the graphics still hold up. I'm still pleased by the visuals. And we just cleared all the enemies in a room. Whenever you clear all the enemies in a room, you get either a strength upgrade, a defense upgrade, or your health gets upgraded. Enemies don't respawn. Once you beat them, you beat them. So basically just look for every single enemy and you will be at max level. It's pretty linear setup, but it's a good thing in a way, because it prevents you from being under level. You know that, hey, I better kill all the enemies or I will be too weak for the next section. If I do beat all the enemies, I will be where I need to be able to go forward. So anyway, we're going to go through this little crack. Use your run move to go in here. There's a red jewel inside the chest. There's like 3 or 4 red jewels in here, and I did a pretty good job. One of them I found by accident. It's in a jar inside the room. And this area right here, the wind tunnel, gave me a little bit of trouble, because I forgot that you have to battle the wind while fighting certain enemies. If you stop to block, you'll lose momentum. The wind will push you back. So this gave me a little bit of problems, but not too much. This game is not so hard. I would say the hardest area was this city called Angkor Wat. This Angkor Wat, and one of the previous areas we've been to called Mu. So we gotta do a little bit of running here. I do like to record live, because it's like you're in the spirit of the game when you record live. You're playing it. Every opinion is fresh. Every idea is fresh, because it's happened to you at that moment. It occurs to you at that moment. But there's always a time for everything, and this is the first time I'm doing some post narration on a video, because I wasn't gonna get rid of this episode. I just wasn't gonna do it, because it's been like a long time since I put up a video, period. I've been kind of taking a break. I've been playing online on Elder Scrolls. I've been playing Neverwinter. and just watching anime and doing my own thing, kind of, because I like to take a break from uploading videos sometimes, because it's not a job for me. It's a hobby. It's something I do for fun. So sometimes I upload a lot of videos, and some days I don't upload. You know, I go a while without uploading videos, because you don't want it to be a chore. That's the one thing I feel about video games. It should never be a chore. If you feel like, ugh, I gotta upload another video today, or ugh, I gotta play this game again today, if you feel like that, you probably should give it a break. So anyway, hidden tunnel in the wall, which is excellent. I like this game. It's so full of secrets. It's so full of, you know, it's got so many mystic areas and things to find. It's very well packed, very well detailed. Graphics are top notch, even 20 plus years later. I mean, sneaking along the wall behind the waterfall, the water effects are amazing. So it was, check out this room. We got our friend Kara here, trapped in a painting. We gotta find a way to free her, which this area kind of creeped me out. The Angel Village is nice on the surface. It's a little bit sad. It's both like amazing and melancholy at the same time. And there's a red jewel in that pot. Make sure you get that. It went by so fast on the screen, but that pot, that red pot, that brown pot on the left has the red jewel in it. Because like when I search things in RPGs, I hit the button so fast, because in a lot of, especially these old school RPGs on Super Nintendo and PlayStation, there's a lot of things to check. There's a lot of cups, desks, you know, plants, pots, tables. There's all types of stuff to check. So here we're sending some we're clearing our inventory. We're sending some jewels back to Jeweler Jim. I'd also take this time to point out the fact that herbs are limited. Those herbs you see stacked up on the left in my inventory, they are finite. They're not infinite. There's a limited number in the entire game. Once you eat them, they're gone. So it's always best to conserve those things. And sending the red jewels to the Jeweler Gym just cleans your inventory. Also, I like the sound effect, the special effect that happens when you do it. And I like the graphics on the red jewel. I've always loved that. As a kid, that enraptured me. It brought me in. It was like, wow, look at those red jewels. I wish I could have had one in real life, because it's shiny, it's burning with a flame inside, yet it doesn't burn the character's hand when he holds it. So I thought it was really amazing. I think, like, out of all the things, you know, from video games, if one of them could be real, the red jewels would be pretty awesome to have a real item. So here's our painter, Ishtar. He's kind of the boss of this area. And he's not a boss in the traditional sense of, you know, having to beat him down physically. He's a boss in the fact that his actions are unjust. And, you know, he has our friend trapped in a painting, and we have to solve his riddles in order to free her. So, you know, he's basically he's kind of like a passive enemy, I guess. So if you go try to skip ahead, and you'll get a warning from Ishtar saying don't. Well, it's Tar, not Ishtar. But he'll warn you, like, hey, don't go ahead. And sometimes I like that, because in modern games you can get lost. You can not know where to go next, or you have to find somebody to talk to, and you can't find that person to talk to them. It can be confusing. So sometimes a little bit of linear gameplay is a breath of fresh air. It was welcoming, and as a kid you needed direction anyway, so I kind of enjoyed that. So anyway, in order to save our friend Kara, we have a set of 4 rooms, I believe. One is the test room, where you have to realize what's in it, and you have to memorize objects in the room. We have a stone table, stone chair, 1 gray jar, 2 brown jars, 2 books, and a brown bottle. There's also 2 holes in the wall that, you know, usually like a candle or something goes there. So very simple memorization. You go in one room, memorize it. You go in the next room that's slightly different, and you point out to what's changed. As you can see, the jar color has changed, so we'll select that, and bam, right answer. The jar has changed colors. As a kid, I think I made a mistake on 1 or 2 I think the last room can be kind of tricky, but these two rooms are pretty straightforward. Just pay attention to each detail. It's not a lot to memorize. It's not like it's packed full of items. Here, this room, we have 2 pictures, 2 jars, a stone table, and a rock in the corner. If you look at the pictures, one has a green background and one has a blue background. So make sure you pay attention to that detail. Very simple. Take your time. There's no rush. There's no time limit on this particular area. So it's not like you'll die if you don't hurry up and find out everything. So take your time and go through this, quickly and as efficiently as possible. Once again, the jars have changed colors, so select those, and we move on to the next room, which I kind of like. I like this puzzle. Like this thing, it gives you a break because most games is always a boss battle, especially modern games. Every time you talk to somebody or something, or you're about to complete a goal, a boss jumps out, or a mini boss or something, and it's cool for action purposes, but sometimes you like to give your mind a workout as well. You don't want to have to fight for once. You just want to figure something out real quick and be able to move on. So I kind of like this. It was a refreshing break in the gameplay. It was a change of pace to where you just didn't have to fight in this area, and that's why I like Angel Village. It's one of my favorite villages in the game. The chest is different in this room because the contents are different, and that can stump you the first time as a kid because you're looking at the room, you're thinking everything's the same, what's the problem? But the difference is there's a red jewel inside this chest, whereas the other chest, it had herbs in it. So you want to make sure that you select the chest that's the correct answer. And post commentary is pretty good because you do have freedom. You do have freedom to think and do other things, like because the game is being played already because you've already been playing it. And in this room we have 2 stone statue heads, and we have a woman carved into the wall, and we have a rock in the corner, which I'm indicating by walking up to it. And it's kind of fun to see me wander around a little bit, post gameplay. Like I said, it's the first time I've ever done a post narrative. I like to do live because I like to give y'all my honest opinions, my honest feelings in that moment, in that instance. But today I made a mistake. I'm human, so have to do a post commentary. So anyway, in this room, everything's the same except for yourself. The wind is blowing on your sprite, and that's what's on your character, and that's what's different. So make sure in this last room you select yourself, and once you select all 4, you're able to move on, and we get to talk to this Ishtar guy, which he really creeped me out as a kid. I can't point that out enough, because like Angel Village is melancholy in itself because they're called angels, yet they live underground. They're trapped underground. In fact, sunlight actually kills them. They're closer to vampires than they are angels. I forgot how long they live. I think they live a long time. I can't remember in this moment what they say, but I think they live for a long time, but sunlight kills them, so they're trapped underground. So they're closer to vampires and angels. The village is both beautiful and sad. The music is beautiful and sad. And so anyway, we talked to Ishtar, we got the magic dust, and now we're able to go rescue our friend Kara. Which, this part is pretty sweet, but that Ishtar guy is really creepy. Like, number 1, why would you trap somebody in a painting? And number 2, if, he also painted himself. I guess he gave himself his own desserts or whatever to trap himself in a painting. But that's just a crazy thing to do. Why would you do that? I mean, there's no way I'd wake up in the morning and say, let me trap somebody in a painting or trap myself in a painting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that just doesn't go through my head. Like, I don't want to be trapped anywhere. And I'm pretty sure you as my viewers don't want to be trapped anywhere also. Also, I could take this time to ask y'all, what is your favorite classic game? Do y'all like, I mean, what brings back the most memories for you on one of the older consoles. And when I mean older, I mean really old, like, you know, Nintendo, Super Nintendo. I would say all the way up to maybe 4th generation consoles, you know what I'm saying? Up till Nintendo 64 or PlayStation 1. If those are the 4th generation, those might be 3rd generation consoles. I didn't really keep up that much. I just remember what has come out before in the past and what I've played. So anyway, we rescued our friend Kara, and we got, you know, dialogue between them, which is a little bit confusing. Like, Kara, she's a cool character, but she's not my favorite. She's not my favorite character for this particular game. Like, my favorite heroine, female character in this video game is Lily. She's a little bit more down to earth. She has the power to transform into a flower, and she can hide with you, and she actively helps you on a lot of your adventures, either through guidance or she helps you pull switches and stuff like that. And that's my style. Like, for me, when it comes to women, I'd rather have a woman that, you know, she's you know, attractive, but she's also helpful. You know, she's useful and helpful. I mean, a pretty face is good, but if she's not helping you in your life, you know, it's not, you know, that doesn't really do much for you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can do better on your own if they're not going to help you. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, now that we've got Kara back, we're going to go to the next area, the floating city of Watermia. I always say Watermia because as a kid, that's how I pronounced it. But I think the correct pronunciation could be Watermia. I mean, I don't know. It's up to you to decide. And once again, we talked to Lily, and she knows something's up, and she's intuitive. I like intelligence in a chick, you know. I like awareness and intelligence and straightforwardness. I don't really like dodgy females, you know what I'm saying? That they can't give you a straight answer, or, you know, they're always unsure or something like that. It's like either you are, you aren't, you want to or you don't want to, you know? I mean, why play a game or anything like that? So anyway, one last check in this room for stuff. I don't know why. I guess I felt nervous. Wanted to make sure I was doing correctly. So anyway, we got a description of the city, and now we've talked to everybody. Let's head out. Let's talk to him. I think it's very hot in the floating city. And one of our crew members, Lance, I think he actually is from that city. A lot of the people in the game, characters in the game, they actually live in the different cities, and I kind of like that. It adds detail to the game. It adds depth. It adds depth to the characters, and it adds depth to the game itself. That you're visiting, like these hometowns, it makes it feel like they're real places. It's not just like another place to go, you know, another city to go to in line on your way to beat the game. You know, it's a real place. People live there. People, you know, have little goings on and dealings there. So anyway, really awesome city. I love the graphics on this part. The way the screen sways, because all of it is floating on wood, you know, floating over the water. So of course it's natural that it would not stay still, you know. And if you notice, the screen is going up and down with the ebb and flow of the waves, up and down of the waves. And we're staying in this guy's, Luke's house. You can tell by the dialogue. And he's letting these people stay in his house while he's gone fishing. That's pretty generous, because you don't know these people. I mean, they could just get crunk. They could tear your house up, which is what I'm about to do here. Because, like, you could just tear their house up. You could just destroy stuff. I mean, you'd have to be pretty generous to let a group of strangers come stay in your house, and then you leave completely. They're not even supervised by anybody. But, you know, we're good people. The characters are good people, and we're the heroes of the story. So, you know, the heroes aren't gonna, you know, do damage or destroy folks' property. You know what I'm saying? That's what villains do. So anyway, as in all new villages, you gotta check around, check every pot, plant, talk to every person, which is a big task. In the old school RPGs, it's pretty, that can be a big job. Like, there's one game that I've been thinking about doing a video series on called Suikoden, and it has a lot of cities, and they're huge. They're very detailed. You can you can investigate tables, desks, chairs. Because these old school RPGs, there wasn't multiplayer, there wasn't any of that stuff. So they had to have content to keep you interested. And I enjoy that. So anyway, we just got information that there's a hidden item behind this house. So we're gonna search for that. That's what I'm doing now. And I like that, because like details make things in modern games. It's not so much details. It's more of graphics and there's some like little hidden gems or lore or whatever. But I like real details. I like, you know, finding stuff that's secret. It's not in the manual. It's not, you know, in a strategy guide. You find it by physically looking for it. You know, by looking around. So anyway, here's Luke, the guy who's letting us borrow the house, and he's just saying, make yourself at home, take care of my house. And like I say, that's pretty awesome of him, since, you know, we could be thieves, we could clean his house out, we could take every single thing in his house and throw it in the water or sell it or something. Like, you don't even know. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, the secret item is Kara's diary, and here it is. Of course, we're gonna read it. In real life, I wouldn't advise reading someone else's diary, because, you know, it's their private, it's their private feelings, you know, in reality. But in a video game, it's all up for grabs, because it's just a video game. So let's, you know, and then when we read the diaries, you can see that she's concerned. She's like, from a villager, she heard that she can do a special thing, or, you know, a little superstition or whatever, to get her loved one to notice her or whatever. And that's sweet. So anyway, that's what's in her diary. So let's explore the city. And these things are called Kruks. The little dinosaurs are kind of like kangaroos mixed with camels. And I thought they were pretty cool when I was a kid and I first encountered them. I was like, oh, what kind of animal is this? I like unique video game creatures and animals. So anyway, we talk to this kid, we hear about the Great Wall of China, and he gives you information on the snakes, which, like it says here in the text, once they bite you, they don't let go. So make sure that, as I demonstrate, you have how to get the snakes off. But the best method is prevention. Like, you can run around crazy, as I'm doing right now. If you jiggle the control back and forth rapidly, it'll shake the snakes off. But, you know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, as they say. So make sure if you see a snake when you go to the Great Wall of China, make sure you're on it with your staff, beating it down. And these two, this Sabas right here, my father's an explorer. Soon he will find the gold ship. We haven't heard from my father since his last letter 6 months ago. Nana, I hope he's okay. Now, if you remember, in the very beginning of the game, at the Aztec temple, we found a pile of bones of a dead explorer that had a note on it saying that he wished that, you know, he had died or he wasn't able to find the ship, but he wished that he had stayed back with his children or whatever. And at the time, you don't think nothing of it. You think it's just a note. But when you get here, those are actually his children. These two individuals right here. And sadly, they're still waiting on their father, who will never return because he passed away. He died in those ruins. And I kind of lament the fact that the producers of the game didn't give you a way to interact with these children and tell them that, hey, I'm sorry, but I found that your father's remains in this ruin. He passed away, this and that. You know, give them some kind of rest or comfort. But that would have been cool. But anyway, it's still cool that they actually have this detail that guy's bones and the note that you read, it wasn't just a note. That guy actually does have children, and there are actually something more to it, you know, in the game. And I like that. And that's what these old games are about. Details. They're about character development, realisticness. It's also fun and fantasy too. So anyway, we have a lot to explore in this new village, Watermia. Stay tuned next time for the next episode, where we finish talking to everybody in the village and exploring, because we have a lot to talk to and explore. There's a lot to do in this new village. And then the Great Wall of China is next, I believe. It's the next area where we have to fight, the next dungeon area. I thank y'all for watching this video, and like I say, I hope this post narrative wasn't too was it too boring or too much of a change of pace from my usual style? Because like I say, it is different. It's a little bit more difficult for me to do something post commentary because it's easier for me live. So anyway.